Okay, Kelly, remember, camera is right there. Don't look at the screen here. Look at the camera there. Don't screw that up. Okay. Here we go. So, hi everyone. My name is Kelly, and I am 49 years old, 2 years transitioned, male to female, transgender. And it's been a while since I've posted anything. And so I thought I would take an opportunity and just share a little bit of my heart. There's something that's been showing up a lot on Twitter and Facebook and in different groups that I belong to that just, it's breaking my heart. And I just want to preface this and show two different scenarios. So the first scenario is someone going to one of their friends or to a group of their friends and saying, you know, like my spouse is just terrible and I need to leave them. They have a sickness, could be a terminal sickness. And you know what? I never signed up for this shit. I I signed up and I thought that my marriage was going to look a certain way and it doesn't now. And so as a result of that, I think I'm justified in divorcing. I can't see myself ever being with a crippled person, a disabled person, someone in a wheelchair, someone with a life altering disease. That's just, I can't do it. I'm sorry. But I'm just so pissed right now. There's no way that I could possibly deal with that. And then the friend saying, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're justified. Yeah, you should just, yeah, you do that. You know what? Yeah. And you listen to that story and you think, what kind of an a-hole would that person be, right? And the truth of the matter is that I lost my first wife to cancer. Um, when we found out about it, she was 30 years old. She was pregnant with our first son. And what happened was she had a stitch in her back. She ended up going into the doctor to get checked out. And while we were there, the doctor kind of got pale. Radiologist had to run out and grab someone else. And all of a sudden, we had a room full of people. And in a matter of 72 hours, long and short story, we found out that she had terminal cancer. And our son, if he was actually born alive at all, would probably have chronic renal failure. And so fast forward a little bit, she made 18 months before she passed on. Our son was 16 months old when she left. And the day of the funeral, the hospital called because his uh, urine and urine results had come back and it was yet another infection, and they wanted me to admit him to the hospital. And so that was kind of tough. But I got to tell you, at no point in time did I ever say, you know what, I never signed up for this, and I don't think I can do it. You just you put on your big pants and you do what life throws you. You deal with it. And so fast forward a little bit, I ended up marrying one of my past wife's friends, and we had another child together. So that's where our two kids come from. And we enjoyed a very wonderful marriage for about 10 years. And during that time, I had always been a little bit more on the femme side, and she loved that. That was something that she appreciated in me. And we'd never really had a reason for that. We didn't understand what was going on. And she ended up getting hit with fibromyalgia. And so that has progressed over the years. So fast forward again up to about 16 years of marriage. And what happened was we were watching a documentary one night and it was on the trans list. And we looked at each other at the end of the movie and said, holy crap. And we figured out that I was transgender. And that just answered so many things that were going on in our hearts and in our lives. And And at that time, I was 45, 46 years old. And I said to her, like, this just makes so much sense. And I broke down and I cried. And I cried for days. And so she gave me some space and then sat down and talked with me and said, "So what do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I've lived my entire life like this. I mean, it's not fair to you guys. I mean, I can just keep going the same way that I was going." And she said, "Yeah, but would you be happy?" And I said, "Well, if I was born in the right body," I said, "that would probably have made me happy. I don't know." And she looked at me with love and she said, "Well, why don't we look at that?" And that was the beginning of our journey of transitioning from male to female. From there, we homeschooled our kids most of their lives. A lot of that was for medical reasons. And so we shared very openly with them. We have no secrets from them. We've always talked openly to them. And when we talked to them about it, they looked at me and they said, "Duh." Like, we kind of knew that for a long time now. And so we said, "Well, to be fair to you guys, because of what you'd have to deal with socially, I'm not going to transition until both you guys have graduated." And they looked at me and they said, "Well, why would you put your life on hold?" And it was, there are no words for love like that. It's it's hard to accept love like that, and just to be so grateful. And my family has been my biggest advocates. I mean, I couldn't have done this without them. And I absolutely love my life now. I love our marriage, our kids. Everybody is just so much happier. And it's a result because we made the choice and we made the decision together. And we did it out of love. It wasn't, "Oh my God, what would the neighbors think? Oh my God, what is my mom or my dad or aunt, whoever, gonna think about this? Are we gonna be the talk of Coffee Row?" It had nothing to do about that. It was because of our love for each other. And since that time, my wife has ended up becoming bound in a wheelchair. She is to the point now that she spends probably 16 hours a day, sleeping or resting, and only, you know, 6 to 8 hours where we can have a life. She's kind of bound to the house. And I'll just go back to the original story. At no point in my time do I ever think about leaving her because our marriage didn't turn out the way that we expected. I mean, I've got nothing but hope. I mean, we are booking appointments in other provinces. We are talking to doctors in other countries because there's just nothing that can help us here where we live. And we're not done yet. And we're going to get through this. But the point is that to say to someone, "I'm going to leave you because you're sick and our marriage isn't turning out the way that I thought it was going to be," that just makes that person sound like a monster. But for another spouse to say, "You're transgender, I never signed up for this, I'm heterosexual and I'm not interested in having sex with someone of the same gender," or "I'm not interested, I won't find you physically attractive anymore." Excuse me, but that's just bullshit. Like, the truth of the matter is that when someone gets sick and ill, I mean, everything changes. I mean, your whole life changes. The things that you thought that you could do, you can't do anymore as a couple. And so I really challenge anyone that's going through a tough time with their spouses, where if one spouse came out as transgender and the other one feels lied to or cheated to, I mean, it's not something that a person chooses. I mean, you're born transgender, and sometimes it takes a lot of years to figure that out. In my particular case, I mean, any time that I ever tried to express my feminine side, I mean, I always either got beat up or put in my place or looked at so weird that you just knew that you never talk like that again. or said those things again because you didn't feel safe. And it's only because I had such a beautiful spouse that I was able to open up and start sharing some of that feminine side. And then when an answer came, that's actually what it was called, was transgenderism. I mean, it just made so much sense to us. And it was an easy transition at that point. So, I mean, every situation's different. Every couple is different. Do what you have to do. But honestly, think about it from the standpoint of, what if your spouse was sick? You know, would you think of the situation any differently? So thanks for watching. That's this video, and come along for the ride if you like what you heard, or if you want to know more about our story together as a couple, or me figuring out this late in life that I was transgender. Check out the rest of our channel. It's Changing Gender, and I'll probably put some links somewhere around here to some other videos or to the channel, and follow along for the ride. Love you guys. Bye.